Hello.
How are you?
Hello. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. I'm like excited. I'm
Yeah.
playing with my new microphone. Which is not really a new micro. It's a new microphone for me, but I used to have it in our studios back in the day. So,
Yeah, you were so involved in putting that together. You didn't even recognize that I was singing Snoop Dogg in the background.
no, I was
And
listening. I heard you, but I
but you
was
wasn't watching me 5 Compton style 1990. That was you missed that.
you were actually rapping like doing well. I was impressed, but
It
I
was
didn't want to like get you nervous. So I was like, I'm just gonna fiddle with this. I got a new, you know, mic arm and all that good stuff that rotates and all that.
maybe if you're good. Now there's only the one song, what dadgummit, the one that Busta Rhymes flows like you just can't nobody can
Ooh.
do it.
Yeah,
The
no one
one,
could
the
do that.
money, money, money. No, dude, I've tried, but most of it I can do. I bust the rhymes, man. I love that. I graduate anyway. So, oh look, Miss Laquelle, she rolled a P yesterday. I know she did, dude. I've been talking about it since 24 hours ago. She rolled a P. I didn't know. I can't even roll an R.
Yeah, well, it could yeah, no, I don't is that hey, I know how to do that. But yeah, no, it's happening again. You're getting blessed with the stream. You're being Minecraftified. Turn off
Oh
all your
yay!
browsers. How many browsers do you have open, sir?
It
And
is. I
is
don't.
and is anybody else streaming simultaneously with you?
It's no, nobody's home. Buster Rhymes was through. Maybe he's still stuck in my in my bandwidth. Maybe that's what it is.
Do you
He's
have
not
that
done yet.
up? Because it will. Is it on pause or
No,
anything?
all of it's
All right.
off, man. It's just me and the cats.
That's all
Alright,
right.
and the
That's all right.
dogs.
Well, speaking of
Alright.
cats, let's talk about your holiday, my friend. Talk to me,
Yeah,
Goose.
so Labor Day, I hope everybody had a good Labor Day. Of course, now everybody's trying to play catch up and usually frantically, going nuts, and so we're no exception. And so, today's gonna be laid back, fun, good times, but, the funny thing is that my little cute four-year-old up there, little Emmy, I told my oldest daughter, I said, "I hope a giant cat doesn't walk by and I'm not looking." Because if they might cover her up, right, like a litter box, right? She's so innocent, she don't know. And my wife's birthday was, this weekend, so,
Right.
we went ahead.
Happy belated, Steph. Happy birthday to you, Steph.
Thank you. She's still too shy to pop in, half the time. But, we've got the flowers, the pop you see that? That's actually paper flowers.
Oh,
Okay, so,
lovely.
yeah, that was clever. And then, big girl went fishing a lot. We did good. So, yeah, that was fun. We had a good time. How about you?
Mine was actually really nice. I slept all day Saturday. Like I guess I've been wearing myself out a little bit of too much fun of life, and literally woke up just to do what I needed to do for basic necessities. But I passed out, and apparently that's what I needed, which is
Yeah.
I highly encourage if your body tells you to sleep, people sleep.
Dude, you have been doing so much. I mean, you always do so much, but I mean, we'll talk about it here in a little bit when we roll the intro, but so many collaborations, so many good things inside the hounds, outside the hounds, everywhere. And and you still find time to do everything. So yeah, I'm glad you got some downtime. I'm glad I saw you off of the chat apps and all the good stuff. And I was good too. I didn't bother you. So let me tell this real quick story because Mark Reed and Tanya and some people here, Randy House. I want to make sure I get this out. Amber, wow, look, is that Felipe? Felipe?
Me?
Sweet. Hey,
Oh,
look at all
cool.
these
Hey,
people, man.
Felipe. Hey, Felipe. Happy
Man,
great
we even got
holiday
somebody.
to you.
Uh-oh. I think I see Canadian flags. I hope they're not mad. You know how I pick on the soaring prophets, right? So maybe they're here they don't know I do that. So,
Oh,
hey,
Christine Bell is logged in. Girl, it's like almost midnight over there, isn't it?
yeah, what time is it over there? Gee whiz, man. We're international in the hounds.
Oh yeah.
And matter of fact, I was wondering where Uganda went because they were the first international hounds, right? Uganda was in the house at like what 2 a.m. one time with me, like last year, and then I said Uganda, and then guess who popped up? I was like, sweet. So here, let me. So whether you like it or not, my dog is a nut, an absolute freak of nature. Love her to death. She is not the one on the screen, but she is half pit, half black lab, and half black panther, or so she thinks she is. So, yeah, she's a nut. Like, I got the laser light for the cats, and her big ol' ass flying into the door, and I mean, it was even the cats were like, "No, we're out. We're not doing this," you know? So, we're sitting there, and the dog wants to go in the rooms and go potty on the carpet. Boy, right? So, my wife and I are sitting on the couch. She has a little collar on that sends beeps, and then it does, a vibrate, and it sends a small shock to get her attention. So, she thinks I have god powers. I don't have to use it, right? So, we're sitting there, she's like, "That dog's in the room." She's like, "Beep her." So I beeped it. Nothing happened. I said, "Hey, come in." Beep. Nothing happened. Beep. Nothing happened. She hits the button, vibrates. Nothing happens. My daughter runs in frantic. So the dog's actually outside the house, not in the house, thinking my daughter's doing it with her cell phone, freaking out. So I was like, yeah, so there you go. And it
Th
was just a beep. The beep is enough to make her freak out, because she's trying to behave. And we think she's peeing in the floor, but she's outside
she's
wondering
outside.
why she's getting. Yeah, so be aware of your surroundings. So I'll tell you what, roll the intro. It's 9 a.m. in Sydney. Good morning, Christine. Let's roll the intro and get going.
Yeah, let's do that.
Are you looking to grow your business and your mindset alongside a fun and awesome pack? Grab a chair and your favorite beverage and join Mike Ashebrainer, the business mechanic, and his win-win network for the Hounds of Business Happy Hour.
All right. Now I want to end dance. But then I'll get a copyright violation from Raquel. This is
It it
Raquel. So
it can only be
Raquel,
copyright is not you gotta, like, apply for it and all that stuff. It's a lot tougher than people think, but yes.
yeah, she don't have, she ain't worried about me. All right. So let's go through, let's give shout outs to some special people and let's get the party started. So host, as I said her name already, Miss Raquel Flores and Miss Raquel Flores Connection Corner. Do she had Michael Montgomery, right? That was amazing, right? All her shows are amazing. So we are excited about her show is always rocking. And if you're not in the comments on Saturday, what time is it? It's going to be 11 Eastern in the morning, 11 a.m. Do we know?
Yeah, it's gonna be 11 a.m. this weekend, and it's going to be a very special episode of Raquel Raquel Flores Connection Corner. It is gonna be live in person with probably 11 to 12 people like rotating around inside the space. So this was an
Sweet.
unplanned retreat apparently it's turned into. So what happened was Benita, who is a fellow hound, is in town. She's in San Antonio for a conference, for a logistics supply chain conference. And so we all said, why don't we all meet up and spend time together? And then before we knew it, 16 people are converging this weekend to hang out. And it's going to be crazy. And yes, a certain Randy House is flying in just for this level
Sweet.
of insanity. We may never see Randy House again. He might be thoroughly offended by us. So, we'll find out. We'll see.
Yeah, man, that would be amazing. So, and Randy, bring your own paper plates, man. I know how you like those. So, yeah, check out Raquel. And I don't get to go this year. That's okay. But all the hounds, most hounds are going to go. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to be there bothering y'all. So, go there. It'd be a special. So it's 11 a.m. Eastern time this Saturday, guys. Don't miss it. And
Yes. Oh, wait, 11 Eastern or 11 it might be 11 Central, so 12 Eastern. I don't know. We'll figure it out, you guys. It's either 10 or 11 Central or Eastern. We'll figure it out.
all right, go to her profile and like you should be already followed and ring the bell anyway. All right, so go do that. All right, so we'll go back to Michael Gale, M Gale Outdoor Adventures. This is the guy who that fights grizzly bears and got me to do Pilates, right? So he's the real deal. If you're an executive or a professional and you just work all the time, you're building your business and you say, well, I'll get to it next week. I'll start being more active next week. I'll get off my butt and do something next week. And next week never came. You've been saying that for over a year. If you're me, all right, get up and do it. So meet with this guy. He's got just tons of stuff, man. He's got tons of stuff. Go check him out. Best way to find him, mgaleoutdooradventures.com, or go to his LinkedIn, Michael Gale. Check him out, man. Thank you for all you do. And he's fun. He's a fun, good guy to work with, man. You'll never be bored. All right, lead us to the next one. See ya.
Mike King Mike.
King Mike.
King Mike, ESPN Richmond. So we have this new relationship with King Mike over in Virginia there. And we are doing a new weekly series. It just launched last week. We just had our second episode yesterday, and it's called Business Bets and Buddies. It is a foosball meets business conversation. So we live stream Tuesday night at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. And then it airs live on radio on Richmond ESPN 106.1 at 5:30 a.m. Central Standard, so 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we are now officially a radio show because it is a Hounds of Business community fantasy league, so fantasy football league. Yay!
Dude.
I can't see it. It's like a lot of words.
No, and it's amazing. Again, what about the Hounds of Business? Dude, we attract people and find amazing collaborations and create great things, man. So Mike King, birds of a feather flock together, man. So glad that you saw us and we saw you, man. That's what it's about. So thank you for that. We're having a ball. We're having football, but most of us aren't even skilled at it. We don't even know. So if you like business and if you're good at football or you just like to laugh at us, man, it's a win-win. Just show up. And it's on YouTube, by the way, if you want to watch it live and you want to see our faces before it goes on ESPN and Richmond. So go laugh at us in real time. All right. Tausi Brands. All right. I'm going to do that one because nobody does the other one like you do. So Tausi, Janice Shokran. Did I say it right?
Shokrian.
Okay. It's way better than I've said it the last year. She has said fantastic. She has the pillowcase the pillowcase saves your neck and back, lumbar support. All of us here work all day long, man. People in the audience work all day long. You got to check this thing out, man. It is fantastic. My family steals it. I'm gonna have to buy like 4 more of them. But they are lifesavers, and even the dogs are stealing them. So we're going to like 18 of them. But go check her out, tausibrands.com, right? And just go and connect, follow the page. Wonderful person and this is because her father had a crooked neck, and she saw all these people at living assisted living places having this issue, so she created a product to help them have a better quality of life and feel better with less pain. So I love anybody who goes out there and busts their butt to make other people's lives better. So thank you so much for that, Janice. Scan that, guys, get that done, and I will go ahead.
I was gonna say use that promo code Hounds, and you'll get 20% off.
It is 20%. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, just because of you. Fancy
man. Fancy. 20% off. That's like 5 of these hats, man. That's like 5 of these hats before COVID, before inflation. Now you can buy like 2 of them. But all right.
Exactly. And our last one?
Walking Tall.
Yes, let's talk about Walking Tall.
Walking Tall. I always mess his name up. Chris Malawinski, right?
Malazewski. Oh, vey.
I know it. Well, I can talk about the movement. This is people. See, you started. Help me out. You do this so much better than me.
So Walking Tall movement is all about mental health. Okay. We all experience triumphs and tragedies in our journeys in life. Walking Tall is put together to help you build up your core inner strength so you too can walk tall. But if there are times you need to lean on others, this is a community that is rallying around together to help everyone else walk tall as well as you. So yes, the founders, Chris Malazewski, Todd Blyleven, they were involved in mass shootings, one in Vegas, the other one in last year in Highland Park, Illinois. The third co-founder, Dr. Vanetta, she has experienced her own challenges with anorexia and how she overcame it. So you guys, it's rooted in tragedy, but it doesn't have to be that way. It is really an organization to help you better serve your own mental health and wellness, and they do it together. So our goal is to say walk tall. So every time you are overcoming something, walk tall and say it over and over again, walk tall. And it's we're going to make it go viral. Viral.
Yeah, it's long overdue. It's long overdue. Listen, I mean, the machismo and all this, be tough stuff. I mean, listen, man, I don't want everybody to be little delicate flowers and snowflakes, but we got to start being real about stuff, man. If you break your arm, you go to the doctor. All right. You get hurt, something's not right, you're feeling something, you're off. You need to talk to somebody. All right. So thank you guys because you didn't have to, you chose to make this a part of your life when honestly a lot of people would want to forget. You use this daily and you do this for the benefit of others. So hats off. We could not be more honored to support such a great cause, mission, and people. So thank you guys.
Thank
All,
you. All right,
oh,
my friend. So, woo, we have a lot of folks like commenting, and we want to meet the artists. Man alive, demanding people, aren't they?
all right. Well, let's bring up Claudia, who I'm not going to shout her. She can say her last name for herself. Hello, Claudia. How are you?
Hi guys. Well, I'm terrible with names and last names, but I can say mine. Claudia Marulanda. that's the
Marlanda. Good.
that's the English version. Yeah.
Good, good, good. I know we got a bunch of just excited people in the back, but I wanted to showcase you a little bit because hey, you caught my attention, man. The Janus Shokrian style, right? So you sent my daughters, and we can show the picture of this. You sent my daughters the coloring book that you do, and you use this in your adult class, right? And you do this. Is this workshop free?
The workshop that I do, yeah, is free, and I
Okay.
do different. Sometimes I use those. Sometimes I use different illustrations. Yeah.
Well, tell us about that. So you sent it to me, and we'll show the picture of it. But
Mhm.
tell us about what do you do and why? Like what is it that why do you do this and what do people get out of it? Tell us a little bit about your story before we bring the folks on.
So, about 10 years ago, I just went through a painful experience. And just basically to put it out there, it's like pain drove me to art. One day, I was just too afraid of how depressed I was feeling. And I just had that intuition to get my pencils, color pencils. And I started drawing because I used to like drawing when I was younger. And then I started coloring. And then I was like, wait a minute, it's like I don't feel any pain. So I liked it. So I kept doing it. And then it just became this thing that I needed. And that's why I call it my medicine, because it was like my daily dose to just stay away from the pain that I was feeling. So years later, I realized how art had helped me heal emotionally. And then I went through two business transitions. I used to be a graphic designer. I ended up in the janitorial industry, and then I wanted to start making art my business, and I wanted to help women. So my first step towards that was the coloring book, because I wanted to at least start giving something not just of beauty but a way for women to relax. And it's been developing since then. That was almost 2 years ago that I launched that.
Nice. And did you know that well, first of all, self-medication. I mean, I've never heard anybody say don't do art. We got like how many 50 doctors in the hounds of business, right? And none of them said, "Hey, that art's a dangerous self-medicating drug," right? So this is something you do that you did as a side hustle, but now it's becoming a business, right?
Yeah.
So did you expect that? Did you hesitate? Did you lean into that? Tell me about that a little bit.
Um, I didn't expect it. And one day when I was in my janitorial business, I went to a sales business event, and I just had that strong feeling, like that voice telling me that I needed to concentrate on my art, and I was ignoring it. So I just decided to start listening to it, even though it's been really scary, because I, like most people that just paint or do any art, I just know how to do art, but I didn't know how to make it a business. But then that desire just kept growing, and I just been leaning into it, outside of the fear or anything that's happening. I just keep moving forward to it, and it just keeps developing, and it keeps getting better and more exciting day by day.
I love it. Hey, and just again, because I don't want to, I know I can't wait to get you with these other people because y'all have so much in common. But at what point, like, how did you know other people would be, like sometimes we do it and it's good for us, but when did you realize that you could encourage others and help others with the same thing? Was it just incidental?
No, I think it's just that desire within, of just it's been growing slowly. So about a year and a half ago, I decided to learn about doing workshop. No, well, it started when COVID hit. With a friend, we were talking about like how do we help people. I was really upset with all the fear that was placed into us. So with my friend, we decided to do a workshop called a gratitude workshop because I'm very much into gratitude. And then we did it a couple of times for organizations, but then we kind of like phased out of it. And then again, that desire came back of helping women. So part of my story is that when I started engaging in art, when I started my self-development journey, I realized that I had suffered trauma when I was much younger. So I realized that I wanted to help women that had suffered trauma. And that's how it kind of began, with one woman, two women, and then just like, let me do more workshops. So it's been developing since that. So it's been taken step by step, I will say. It's been happening.
Hey, I'm glad you do it. And again, thank you for, my little girls love it. Matter of fact, I'm going to get a picture. My big girl I think she's almost colored the whole thing.
I want to
My
see
little
it.
one, yeah, I'll do it. I'll make some posts of it. We'll share it and we'll get the word out because this is good stuff. And again, we just talked about walking tall, mental health, and dealing with things in a positive way, right? So I love all of these guests, all the people. And by the way, people in the audience, friends, all the network, talk, comment, ask questions. This is your show. This is for you. Hey, don't tell the folks they're giving you free advice, man. just ask, right? You get a lot of free stuff around here. So, absolutely. I appreciate you and what you do. You have a good heart. You have an outlet. You're just one of the most caring people I know. So
Thank you.
what's the best way for people to connect with you so they can learn more and get involved with your courses?
They can either go to my website or just email me or send me a message via LinkedIn because I have different websites, especially for my courses. I'm working on putting it all together. So it's getting there.
Wonderful. All right. Hey, everybody, go right now. You can right click and open a new window. Go connect. Go follow Claudia. She is fantastic. You all seen her. You know she's fantastic. So again, if you have the best around, something of value that people want, and then you're the most likable, trustworthy person, what's left? And speaking of that, we got 3 more people who are just like that. The most loving people with the best shit available. So let's go ahead and pile them in here. See you. There they are. Look, I'm not the only one that looks like Minecraft now. Everybody does. So let's start with Miss Romita. All right, how are you today?
I am doing awesome. It has been such a great day today. How about you?
It has. We saw each other, what, twice, 3 times a day? I
Yeah.
don't know how you're not sick of me. Wow. Yeah, you got overdose on redneck. You can only take once a day, right? Look at Lucia. Yeah, she can only take once a year. So, Romita, get like 20 seconds. Tell us what you do, in just a snapshot of what you do, who you are. Go ahead.
So I am a business shaman. I infuse the business success with the spiritual growth. We need both to live an authentic lifestyle. And a lot of us end up getting one or the other, more of that. And I help my clients fill in that gap to really have that synergy between a nice balance of that business acumen and that business success, and then also the spiritual growth that needs to go along with it.
Yeah, no, and I made the comment. I made the comment a while back. Like I said, if whatever I was facing was really difficult, and I said if this was just a business or just a marketing problem, I'd have solved that. It is a spiritual issue. There's mental issues, emotional things that come with entrepreneurship. It's awful. There's no guarantees. You think you're going to get a deal,
No.
you lose it. Your rent's due, things like that, right? So there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and you have really been instrumental in a short amount of time helping me process that and others. So I appreciate that, Romita.
Thank you.
Let's see
It's
who
been
go.
so great to work with
Oz.
you.
Oh no, hey, well, you'll say that. It's been new. We'll see if
No,
you
it,
say
it
that
it
in
really
3
has.
months.
It really has.
I appreciate it. So Oz, Mr. Oz, David Oz,
What's
how you
shaking,
say it?
Ash? How's it going, bro?
I'm good, man. You're not disappearing on me today. So how are you? Who are you? What do you do? And I know it's a lot, so try to keep it under 20 minutes, man. You
Yeah,
do a lot of
well,
stuff, man.
we're not talking about me today. We're talking about no more starving artists. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep this as short as possible. A lot of my friends went literally bankrupt that were world-class artists, during COVID, and they haven't recovered. They're doing taxes, they're driving Uber, they're working tables, they're physically, mentally, and spiritually broke. So we started No More Starving Artists to create a model where artists can build residual income. They get paid 5 different ways in our model. And just imagine business owners, we're starting this locally here in Salt Lake City, who can create an art gallery in their office, which creates happier employees, happier clients coming in. They have accents for the artists to build community support, because, oh, look, we're supporting all of these local artists. They could do different events at their office, invite the artists to show everybody how wonderful they are, do fundraisers, and actually make money doing it. Okay, it's a win-win for everybody. We actually launched last Saturday at a 1 million cups event, and this is just what I want to talk about. I talked about one particular artist who happened to be watching the live stream, and he called me afterwards and he said, "Hey, Oz, you were talking about me, weren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I was." And he goes, "I want you to know that I almost lost my home. Okay, I almost lost my wife, and things have gotten so bad for me because I'm in such a depression that I was thinking of killing myself. But I watched your live stream. I saw you talking about me. I didn't mention his name. And I'm going to pull all my stuff out, and I'm going to start creating art again, and I'm in." We haven't even sold anything yet, and we may have saved a life. So No More Starving Artists is our goal. We're going to accomplish it. We got a lot of traction, a lot of great people behind the scenes. And it's nomosa.art. Anybody that wants to get involved, just write to us. It's oz@nomosa.art. You can find me on LinkedIn. Again, this is not about me, Mike. You know my art. You know what I do. I create beautiful artwork, but this is about everybody else and creating No More Starving Artists.
That's what I like about you, because you are successful. You do things. I mean, so many artists try, takes, well, business people in general, but especially artists, right? We see that. And you're already giving back to people. And that's what this is about. It's all good for me. I got money, I got success, but you kicking that right back out to others, man. And wow. And speaking of that, that leaves us with, thank goodness I don't have to roll no letters on her name, Lucia Kanter St. Amour. I can say that well. All right. How are you today?
Hi guys, I'm the same as always, untamable.
You got that right.
And
So
I'm a VP for UN Women USA. I'm an attorney and a law professor in San Francisco, specializing in negotiation. And I'm especially vocal about getting more women to negotiate. And I'm also an amateur artist, and I filled my book with my amateur level art because why not? It's fun. It doesn't matter if it's not any good or professional. It's fun. So that's why I'm here.
yeah. So tell us about your book, because I have your book. I've read the book. All right. And I like the format, the little tips and things that make you do action tips. So what was the basis for the book? Real quick. I know there was a whole bunch of books written by female attorneys, right, on the subject of negotiation.
No,
right?
that's just the opposite. So that was very cute of you, Mike, to toss me that softball.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I realized after teaching negotiation at 2 University of California law schools for over 10 years that every single assigned reading at both of those schools had been authored by not just a man, but a white man. And I started looking around for, well, where are all the women authors and experts on negotiation? There really weren't. There were a couple, but they just weren't there. And I said, oh man, I got it. It was like I couldn't unsee it. Once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. And women also negotiate 8 times less often than men. And it's really, really hurting women in very real, very measurable way. So I wrote For the Forces of Good, the superpower of everyday negotiation. And I filled it with my art because people don't want to read a book about negotiation. They want to just know how to negotiate. So you can't just write a book and then fill it with a bunch of words. You got to put some other stuff in there that's pleasant to look at, like some art, like my everyday negotiation super tip pop outs. You can't just write words. You got to keep people engaged, and art keeps people engaged. It makes people happy.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. I wanted everybody to wonder why in the hell I brought an attorney You impress, like, what does she fit in? And then you're like, oh, she
Yeah.
put art in her book because you made the art. You painted that stuff.
Yeah, it's my art that I made when starting in 2022, when I actually took a hiatus from my law practice because I had been through such a horrific, prolonged group bullying experience as a CEO of a very white male dominated sports organization and the first woman in 94 years. And I was so broken. And I just took a hiatus. I said, I'm going to stop practicing for a while. I have to, I cannot be in other people's conflict. I had been in other people's conflict for 25 years. And I said, I'm in no condition to be in other people's conflict right now. And I just started looking at YouTube videos I had no experience with art. I have no training at all. I just pulled up some videos on YouTube and pulled out some water, all these art supplies that you accumulate over the years as a parent, especially as a special needs parent. Lots of art supplies, most of them were unused. And I just started pulling them out of the closet and looking up, well, how do I use these? And watching videos and just started making messes. And then, some of the messes turned out pretty good. So I just kept doing it.
Yeah, good, subjective term, right? I mean, so what? They're in the book. It's your book. You can put it wherever the hell you want to.
Yeah, I can do whatever I want with it. They're not going to be any museum. That's not the point.
Yeah, and they're good. I didn't rip the pages out. I like them, and I don't
Thank you,
know
Mike.
anything about art. Yeah, you're welcome. I'll have to go show her after the show. She's going to be like, hey, I want to see my book. I want to make sure you didn't pull the pages out. All right. I'm going to have to buy 2 of them. No, I'm joking. So this is to Claudia. All right, LinkedIn user. I like to know who that is. Which markers and pencils do you love the most, Claudia?
Oh, okay. I use different ones. I use color pencils. I love Prismacolor. Even though I love them, I have a big set. I have it right here, 120 color pencils, Castle Arts. And then when I do my art programs, I send the ladies the Crayola color pencils not Crayola, I'm sorry, the Amazon color pencils, which they're really good and inexpensive. And markers, I like alcohol markers, Ohuhu, I think they're called. So I use those, and I play around with a lot of different supplies.
Oh, I love that. Hey, Claudia, you were just talking about pencils. There's this pencil that I found. I think I got it from Japan, but it literally writes in like 5 different colors. And that's what I write my notes in. And it just makes me so happy to write notes in a color pencil.
In 5 colors?
Yeah. It writes in, it has different colors in the pencil. So like when it writes, I can't. No, you can't really see it, but it writes like it has like a blue and a shade and a green. It just keeps changing colors. I'll have to send you one. They're really so cool.
Fun. I get PTSD if I'd ever use that.
that keeps it interesting.
So let me interject real quick. So Oz, you do something real interesting in your part. I know we're not here to talk about you, but it's my show. I'm gonna do it anyway, man. So you do something really interesting because you couldn't wait one-on-one. If you get on one-on-one, he's gonna show you in 5 seconds. So and that was cool. So people go on family vacations, they have a great photo, right? And then you get a phone call. Is that finish the sentence? Finish the thought.
Yeah, I get a phone call, and I basically take people's vacation photos and I turn them into outstanding digital works of art, and I enroll them to be part of the entire process. We talk about the colors, the size, the whole 9 yards. The client has to name every piece of art, whether they pay me or not. They don't receive it until they name it. The entire family gets involved. You've never had more fun than being on a 2-hour Zoom meeting with 20 family members trying to name 6 pieces of art, calling each other the worst names. You're an idiot when you were a kid. You're even stupider now. Where did you get that name from? Oh my God, it's so much fun. And it becomes a family heirloom, literally. I mean, it is literally the gift for the person who already has everything. That's my main business. Most is my side, but this will be everything very soon.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Because think about it. How do you advertise? Everybody who walks in that house, as long as that daggum picture's up, goes, oh, wow. And then they're always talking about you. Matter of fact, I shouldn't tell nobody this, but I sent the family pictures and some goofy stuff on a Christmas card, and I told them to hang it on their fridge because I'm the only financial guy ever on your damn refrigerator, right? So that year I had like 300%. People come like, "Is that your nephew?" They're like, "No, it's my financial coach." They're like, "Oh, you got to tell me why the hell your financial coach is on your fridge." It's clever, man, and it's good because people, if you do some great stuff and people love it, they'll talk about it, man. Especially when it's hanging in your daggum living room. So, look, do we have another question or something? Because here's what I want to know. All of you have a unique take, but all of you, all four of you, your story is really, really fantastic because you had a change, a shift in your career path where most people, the vast majority of people, will get a degree, they'll make a lot of money, they'll be miserable as hell, and they'll keep doing it anyway. And that's common. You were very uncommon. When we go on LinkedIn and we forget that that's not common. We're in the hounds where there's, hundreds of people like us, but that's not common. So I want you all to chime in. What was that pivotal point or aha moment? Like, for example, I'll go ahead and pick on Romita because she's not shy at all. Romita, you were in big business. I don't know if I should say parts of it or not, but you were with
You
Fortune
can.
50 companies. I mean, you've
Yep.
been around. And life happened and you could have went back and tried to go back that path, right? Everybody wants to get a resume, go back into stuff, but you said, no, I'm going to go completely U-turn.
Yeah.
And I know how scary that is. So I want you all to chime in after Romita. What is it that brought you to a point where all the other people continue to be professors, but now you're putting your own pictures in books and that kind of, I want to know what made that, because our audience is right there with you. And some of them need that
Yeah.
encouragement. So go ahead.
So when I left corporate, I left without a job lined up. I left without any plan, really. I just was so broken, and I knew that I would go back into corporate in that moment. I said, you know what? I'm just going to take a couple of weeks, like months off, and then I'm probably just going to go and work. I'm going to go even higher on the fortune ladder because I had, done Disney and Marriott, but the last company I was with was Fortune 200. And this is my snob corporate junkie hat talking right now. I'm like, this is what happens when you go down on the Fortune 500 list. You get crappy leadership. I need to go back up to the Fortune 50 side versus the Fortune 200 side. And that's what I was going to go do. And I ended up I sold my house and I went on a trip around the world. I bought a one-way ticket and I found I had to figure out who I was. And that was the whole point of the sabbatical. And for me, I've always had this love for art. I've always loved going, like when I lived in DC, every week or every couple of weeks, I would go to the Smithsonian and I would just go to the art museums. I would go to art shows. Like art was something that I always felt that was therapeutic for me. It was something where, you can go into and you can see a painting, and to someone else, it's something else, but to you, it's something else too. You're allowed to create in your own mind what that picture means to you. So when I started traveling, what do you do when you go traveling? You take photos. And I hated taking photos because I didn't like how I looked in photos. I didn't know, I didn't want to post anything because I would look at it 20 times. And I was like, you know what? I got to deal with this, whatever this is. But I also didn't know how I wanted to be portrayed. I don't want people seeing me in a white shirt or a green shirt or wearing a dress or I don't know if I'm wearing it right. There were so many things that were running through my mind. So I started doing photo shoots. And I started going on Airbnb and I would go under experiences and I'd hire these photographers. And we would do photo shoots. And then I would decide who I wanted to be in that photo shoot. And I got to almost try on different types of personalities and styles. And I would go through, and I've done hundreds of photo shoots now. And I have so many of them, but I learned a lot about myself and I got comfortable in front of the camera. And then I started using my own phone and I started taking selfies and I started loving my photos and loving myself more and loving who I had become and how I had evolved. And I felt like I found my identity. And then I started using video and I started taking video. And then I started taking pictures of my friends and people that were around me. And I was like, look how beautiful you are. Look at this picture. Look at the energy in this photo. And so I used photography, and I still to this day, even with clients, when I'm working with them and we're trying to understand that spiritual growth side and they're starting their business, but they have to know who they are and their brand and what they're representing. And a lot of times it's them getting comfortable with what they see in the mirror. And photography is a beautiful way to practice that. And you get to do it on your own terms, and you get to kind of play with different outfits and colors and feelings and atmospheres and landscapes. And I mean, the sky's the limit. So that's how I got into it. And now it's therapeutic, and it's more therapy than anything else.
Beautiful, beautiful. And yeah, I have no artistic bone in my body. And I thought that. I used to say that. But y'all rubbing off on me. And I took an art history class, and then I actually got excited about it. So what do you suggest for a beginner? So what do you suggest for a beginner? So anybody, let's pick on somebody who's been quiet for a minute. Who wants to do it? This is too much quiet here.
Okay.
Yeah, look, there we
ahead,
go.
David.
If Oz is up there, we'll pick on Oz. So what do you suggest for a beginner? And I guess, somebody who does, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a hobby. Maybe they're trying to go from a hobby to something more than that. Maybe, maybe somebody would buy it. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, Mike, I'm a storyteller, so I'll tell a quick story.
Sweet.
I teach AI art. In other words, artificial intelligence art. It's not the main body of what I do, but I've gotten very addicted to it, and I love doing it. I create beautiful stuff. And I got a call from an 86-year-old retired woman who took one of my courses, didn't say a word. She was in the background. I didn't know she was there. And she said, and I love this. She goes, I think you may have saved my life. I had no reason to get up in the morning every day. But now with what you taught me, I can create anything I want with this artificial intelligence. And I think she said in the last 4 days, I created more art than I have in my entire life. And I ran out of bandwidth on it's something called Magi. It has like everything you could imagine. And she had to pay for an extra month because she used up an entire month worth of credits in 4 days because she was up till 2 o'clock in the morning every night creating art. And she actually loves it. Another quick story. I was with a billionaire today, and one of my artists was in the meeting, and he just turned to her after we just kicked my ass with our business model and ended up actually almost partnering with us at the end. And he turned to Malia and he said, "Why are you an artist?" And she looked dead at him and she goes, "I have to. I would die without being able to create art." And I just like this. And I'm like, I'm an artist, I'm a photographer, I'm a writer, and I do so many things, and everything I do is connected to artistry, because artists are the most outstanding human beings in the world, whether they're musicians or physical artists or digital artists or painters. It doesn't matter, because it comes from our soul. It comes from such a deep level that if we can't create, we are miserable.
Yeah.
And I'm right there.
Hey, Oz, I have a question for you. When you do the AI art, I've been playing around for my clients too, because we practice visualization and practicing being like visual in your ideal self and the person that you're looking to become and that you're trying to become and that you want to be, and to use AI for that. Have you done any work with that, or?
Yeah, I have. The main body of what I teach in my AI courses is how to create prompts. In other words, how to work with the AI, because the AI is a child. It's a second or third grader, and you have to teach it every step of the way. And you can write something like Batman sitting on a roof in Gotham City. I need a drink of water. Wearing battle armor with a blood red sky and lightning, and it will misrepresent something you said, and you have to write it again and again and again until the AI understands, oh, I know exactly what they're talking about. This is brand new technology. So I didn't really answer Mike's question. I teach free courses. So anybody who wants to learn how to create AI art, just write me at oz@nomosa.art, and I will answer you within a day or two. I will invite you to my next course. I don't charge a dime for it. I love creating artists, because there's an artist inside every single one of us. I hope that answered both of your questions.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to send some clients over to you.
And I wanted to chime in on the question, because one of the things when I do the workshops, so a lot of people tell me it's like, I don't know how to color, or I don't even know how to hold a pencil, I can't, or kind of like you said, Mike, I don't have an artistic bone in me. But like David said, we all have it within us. And for anyone that's a beginner, I think it's more about allowing yourself to just express yourself. It doesn't matter how it is, because for me, at least my experience was that I started doing it and I just liked how it felt. It felt good. And the most important thing is just to be non-judgmental, because I was just feeling good. And even though if I didn't know how to do something, I was okay with it, because there's still that feeling of accomplishment. Whatever is good is good. And then you just keep improving on it. So it's up to the person, you know, how much you want to add into it. And it opens you up to so many things. And I hope Lucia talks about this, because you told me something that I thought was very beautiful, and you know, I would love to hear it from you.
Yeah,
Okay,
Lucia.
can I buy a vowel? Can you give me a hint at what it was that I told
I
you?
know, yeah, we spoke. Well, when you started going, after you started practicing art, that you started going hiking with your dog, and how you started noticing more colors.
Oh, that's right. So I got to get this dog out of that. I mean, he's a chocolate lab, so that he's got to get out every day. And I live at a trailhead, so I'm always out on the trail every day. I'm out on the trail. And after I started doing the art, and my answer to the question to how you get started, by the way, is just start making messes. That's what I did. This was not a performance. This was not goal oriented for me. Just start making a mess. And after I started making messes, I noticed that I was out on the trail with my dog. I was like, oh, look at all those shades of green. Oh my God. I was seeing so many more hues in the world. And I would stop. I would see a cluster of leaves on the trail and I would stop. Like, oh, I have to take a picture of those leaves. And I was just I was literally seeing the world differently, in seeing more colors that I hadn't noticed before. Even my dog, I said, well, he's just brown. He's a chocolate lab. He's just brown. I painted my dog. And I thought, well, how am I going to distinguish his features since he's just brown? And when I really looked closely, I realized he's not just brown. He's got gold, and he's got black, and he's got little patches of white. And it was like, oh my gosh, there's so much depth there that I didn't notice before. I thought he was just brown. Pretty cool.
That's not weird to me. Actually, I've noticed that on my dog the other day. I'm like, wow, you know, we didn't just meet. It's a year and a half old, but it's amazing how you don't pay attention to stuff. Like you go about your day, you're busy, you're doing stuff. And then all of a sudden, you know, 50 years later, you're like, oh, not everything's the same color green.
Art
You know,
actually trains you to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You become more focused to details.
Yeah.
And I want to ask why that's important. But before then, and this kind of goes hand in glove. I want to throw this. I'll go ahead and throw it at Lucia since she's up there almost smiling at me. She didn't see the comments in the chat.
It's a grimace, but go ahead.
Yeah, just like McDonald's. Yes, ma'am. So you said be non-judgmental. Wow. So here's what I want to know. Have you guys ever screwed something up, but then it turned out better than what you anticipated art-wise or program-wise? Or like, okay, yeah, look at everybody's like softball city, man.
Always.
Every single piece I included in my book is a screw up. And I was like, okay, well, I guess this is happening now. I guess now I guess I'll work with it this way, or I guess we're doing this. Now, I didn't throw out a single thing. I did not throw out anything. I would like, all right, I guess we're going in this direction. And that's also very consistent with being a special needs parent. You're like, okay, this is not happening. So I guess we're going this direction.
Yeah, you kind of gotta let it be. It kind of like becomes its own thing. That's the cool thing. When you engage in it, it just starts transforming, and then you make a mistake, and it's like, how do you work around it? And you just engage in your creativity, and it just comes out naturally.
Yeah, let the energy flow.
Mike, 2 mistakes that I made. I was out photographing, just doing stupid stuff. And I have these Lego Star Wars creatures that you build, okay? And I was out just photographing, but I forgot that my camera was on HDR, which takes 3 pictures really quickly. And it moved, and it created an entire series of stormtroopers that were morphing into another dimension. And I sold a massive amount of them at Comic-Con. Okay, so it was very, very cool. But also with the AI artwork, because the AI does not generally always understand what you're putting in there, if you write a really detailed prompt and you're looking for one thing, it can create something completely different that looks 1,000 times better than what you ever pictured it. And then you use that prompt over and over again, even though it makes absolutely no sense to what the prompt says, because the AI reads it as something different, which is what I love about artificial intelligence. It's such a child that it creates what it wants and not what you want. It's amazing.
Yeah, and on that note, because it's very similar, Mark Reed had that question about, have you ever thrown it away and regret it? Yeah. So have any of you ever tossed away something that you regretted later, that you said, oh, this is crap, but then you're like, wow, I wish I had that?
No, I never threw anything away.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
never,
me
never.
too. I'm a hoarder. I keep everything.
Because
all
I figured
creation.
I could at least like cut it up with my paper cutter and make it into a bookmark, or add more color, like cut it, add more color, or use some of my like distressed ink on it, or do a collage with it, that I could use it in some other way.
Okay, so artists, man, y'all don't waste nothing. y'all like
No.
you use the whole buffalo. Like, yeah, nothing goes to waste there. Okay,
In my
good.
case, I cut out, I have like cardboard and I use that for, I keep everything. And I don't know if it's being an artist or what, but I just feel like, oh my God, I can use this later for something else. And maybe, I can add this and that. So I just keep it all.
Yeah.
But
It helps show the evolution.
The not throwing something away, that's actually unusual for me, because I am otherwise in my life really strict about not accumulating and not having clutter. So like even when I said this on the last time I was on the Hounds, and it was a fashion episode, and I said, whenever I buy something new, I have to eliminate something else in that same category. So if I buy a pair of shoes, I can't eliminate a skirt, I have to eliminate a pair of shoes, so that I'm not just constantly accumulating. So this is actually out of character for me. With the art, that no, I save all those because it's like it's art, and I can somehow turn it into more art. Like art is regenerative. Art begets itself.
Mm-hmm. And it also helps you show like the evolution of your art, of how you evolve. I love going back to old things and like seeing where I came from, seeing where I'm going, and seeing like how I can feel the energetic shift when I look at old stuff versus new stuff versus, things that just did last year. So it's nice to have that to go back to and reference back to.
You don't necessarily otherwise notice improvement. I told Claudia this when we spoke, that when I did start watching the YouTube videos on like, oh, how do you use watercolors? I don't know how to use watercolors. And I did the very first tutorial I did, it was just this series of flowers, and I had this little practice notebook. And then a couple months later, and I was doing art every day, and a couple months later, I said, I gotta go back and do that very first tutorial again. And I did. Mm-hmm. I could not believe how much better my flowers were than the original. If I put them side by, I still have it, I could show you, I was like, wow, look at, I really have made progress in my technique, so that felt pretty good.
So Mike, one of my most embarrassing moments as an artist, and this was just horrible. I was at a huge networking meeting, and everybody there knows I'm a digital impressionist. All my art is either from my camera, okay, which I take into Photoshop and do all this craziness, or now with, artificial intelligence as well. And I combine it all. So I was at this meeting, and the guy that was heading the meeting was writing on a whiteboard, and he goes, all right, we need an outstanding stick figure. Oz, you're our artist. Come up here and draw us a stick figure. And I'm like, I don't do that. That's not my type of art. Like, come on, everybody's like pushing me up. I created the worst stick figure you have ever seen in my entire life. Sat back down with my tail between my legs. And one of my buddies, Eric Thorpe, who's brilliant on Stable Diffusion, which is an AI model, turned to me and he goes, wow, you really do suck creating stick figures. It was horrible. I was like, I felt so small, but it was funny. We all laughed about it and, had lunch afterwards. But it was just this defining moment where I realized I need to stick to what I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Romita, she helped me with the graphics today, right? I did my first group coaching LinkedIn marketing course. It killed her. And so I sent her, remember the paint program? It was called Paintbrush back in 1990. I still use that. Sia laughs at me. So I sent her
I didn't even know that still exists.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in an AI world, Mike. We're in an AI world now.
And I
When
sent
you
her
were
an etch a
telling me, I was
sketch.
like, I don't even know what that is.
Dude, I sent her an etch a sketch file, right? She's like, "Oh, sweet." So then the funny thing is, she goes, "Mike, are, let me know if you like my graphics." And I'm like, "Did you see the hunk of shit I just sent you? Like, I'm really anything you do is going to be better than that paint program thing I just put. I'll post it soon, guys. You can laugh at me. I don't care. I'm the honey badger." So, Stephen Ing, hey, so good to see you. Stephen Ing has been so busy and doing so many things. Great guy. I don't know if you don't like Steven, I don't know what's wrong with you. So
He's got a
he
new
says,
house too.
yeah, oh yeah, he's wow, busy and he's helping people write and publish and oh man, he's a great guy. So he says, when you stop yourself from throwing something away, are you already thinking about possible future uses for it? So is it kind of automatic where you're like, hey, that light bulb would make a good thing I could paint. My uncle used to paint light bulbs all the time, and like everything set still, he would put tape on it and spray it, and everything had lines like the 80s. So who wants to take this one?
I got it. Art becomes art. Every single piece of art that I create, even if it's sold, it's always reused to create more art. Okay, and even if I'm painting, I have painted over art previously to make it something different with the original art still there. I work with a lot of artists because the canvases that I create, they paint on them, which is a great, great, great collaboration. But yeah, my art is never completely complete. It's always morphing into something else. But you guys do different art, so I want to hear what you say.
Yes,
Claudia.
I do portraits. Everything it's about women, and kind of like what David said, we have our own styles, whatever comes out of us. So for me, it's like, and I look there because I have a lot of my art there. They become like these people that they're next to me. So even if it's not finished, even if it's not done, it's just like I have this girl sitting there and she might need to get finished later. She might need to get like a whole makeover. So they just hang around and they're just like other people next to me. And at some point I just go back to them. So, but it's not like, I will go back to you. It might take a year. Actually, the one that you have on the screen, what is that on the left? The smaller black and white. It took me over a year to finish that one up. So I just went back to her later and then I just continued working on it. So yeah, so it just comes depending on what I'm feeling and what I'm expressing, then I'll just go back to them.
Yeah. So how long did it take my hillbilly butt to realize there's words in there? Her hair. Like, did you like it was like a day later, and I'm like, is there words in there? I said, oh my God, sweet Jesus. Yeah. So yeah, I got it though. Hey, I got it. Y'all rubbing off
That's
on me.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's how I was using. So I used to be a graphic designer and I love typography. That was my thing when I worked in publishing with magazines. It was all the lettering and typography. And I think my love for that and my desire to kind of like express myself, even though I'm not a storyteller or good with words, like if I like the quote, I I would just reflect on that, like, that's what I want to feel. That resonates with me. So I ended up just adding the words, and that became my style. So that is my thing, adding words into the hair.
Well, and Mike, I would go as far as saying that wasn't a reflection on you not noticing it, that it was a reflection on the artist, Claudia, that she didn't make it so obvious that it actually took you a little bit to see it, because that's what I would hope art does, that every time you look at it, or maybe not every time, but at certain intervals when you look at it, you go, oh, I didn't notice that before. It's not just in your face, the first impression.
That's
a good point.
About it. Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, no, and it's art. Like I see a blob of paint somewhere in an art museum, but then like that was like magic eye stuff. Like, wait a minute, and like I'm excited like a little kid. Yeah, good point. So let's go back and pick on Lucia, because I know it's already 8, man. Time flies when you're having fun. And here's the fun part: some of you are like new to your business. You transition into part-time business and full-time. Some of you are like next level, making organizations, and some of you throw it in your book. Right? It's not your main jam. And then like it's a hobby for some of you. I love the dynamic we have here, because it's for everyone. What you do with it, what you do with art, is up to you, right? It can do whatever you want it to be, right? So here's what I want to know, because Lucia, you come from business, corporate profession. So does Romita. A lot of you do that. So here's my contrast. Let me see if I can get the words out right for the first time in my life. Let's see. Um, Criticism. So have you noticed that art helps you do better in business? So for example, I heard you all talk about things and not wasting and not being mad about screwing up stuff. That's not really how we typically do business, right? If you're a professor and you screw something up, that's a no-no. So have you noticed that your art has helped you become more creative, been a better problem solver? Do you handle things a lot easier now in your business because of the influence of art, Lucia?
It may be the other way around for me in the sense that since I was a mediator, right? So like mediators never give up and special needs parents never give up. And I'm a special needs parent who's an attorney and a mediator. So I would never give up. And so whatever was going on in the conflict between a couple of parties, I was like, well, let's try this. Well, what about this? Well, let's do this. And I just was like constantly in that sort of like, what box? Not even thinking outside the box. Like there's no box. All right, this is mediation. We can do anything we want here as long as it's not illegal. You know, you can craft anything you want. Like you guys gotta harness this moment. So I actually think that maybe it's the characteristics that made me a good mediator that are what made me take to art so readily, in addition to being a lifetime lover of the arts, so much so that I think I also said this to Claudia when we spoke. I never really felt like a lawyer. I in fact don't think I should have gone into law. If I had it all do over again, I think I should have gone into art history.
Wow, I would love to see that alternate timeline. Man, hey, Oz, yeah, Yanni, we need to make a movie on that. If Lucia, became an artist, that would be, I would watch that. So no, thank you for sharing that, because anybody else want to chime in? Like, have you noticed that in your art helps you become much better, less rigid, and you can problem solve better in your business as a result of being an artist? Who wants to chime in?
Yeah, I feel like when I was first introduced with that whole concept when I worked for Disney, because we would we would have this room of diverse people and we're thinking of ideas and ways, and Disney is probably one of the most artistic entertainment companies, out there. And there was no bad idea. Every idea was a great idea because you just build on it. So whether it would be the colors and the ideas working with the Imagineer team, and you just throw these ideas out there and you just keep building and you keep building and you keep building. And that was how the great decisions were made. So all of that, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent or neutral, all of the ideas and all the things that became part of the bigger picture, and it was actually what contributed to the magic and the glitter that they provide. So like I kind of took that concept when I was doing my own personal journey, but like even when I'm working with my clients, like it builds, it evolves. Just like you don't throw away the old pictures, everything evolves, everything grows, and you just keep building off of it. I think it's just a beautiful way to think about it. It's different. It's different,
right,
than what the normal person, like the normal business jargon is. It's a very different thought process.
And then I just wanted to chime in on that, because one of the things that I tell the women in my program is that when you engage in the art and that creativity, you're really expanding your imagination. So it's kind of like growing that imagination muscle, and that allows you to, make just find more answers, solutions to problems. So it does help in the business life. It helps in every area. So it is beneficial.
Oz, you got a thought on this? Or you plead the fifth, man?
I don't know. Maybe I talked enough already. Well,
that makes two of us.
It's been a very long day today. It started at 6 a.m. I just had so many meetings. I drank way too much coffee, and I'm literally tripping over my words at this point. It's just been a long day.
We might be brothers, man. We might be related. Let's do a DNA test. Keep going.
Yeah.
Good
No, I don't even, honestly, I said all that because I don't even remember the question.
Hey, even better, because we're running out of time any damn way. So thank you.
Well, I do have an offer. I do have an offer for everybody. All right. I want to literally ruin all of you. So Claudia, Mike, all of you, I want to invite all of you to my next free art clinic. I literally want to teach you AI. I'm warning you, it will ruin you. It is so easy. And once you learn prompts and you prepare a prompt Bible, you will go back over and over and over again. And once you figure out how to talk to it, there is literally nothing you cannot create with SDXL, with Leonardo, with all of the tools in something called Magi, magai.co. I got very close to the CEO. He's given me the option to give away free trials. He doesn't do that with anybody. So yeah, if you join me, you can have a free trial. I'm trying to talk him into 14 days. So you don't have to pay for anything, but trust me, you'll get so addicted to it. You'll use up your free trial probably in 2 days, and then you'll have to pay for it. So too bad. But yeah, just oz@nomosa.art. Write to me if you're interested. I'll invite you to the next one, probably in about 3 or 4 weeks, and probably 90 minutes to 2 hours. We will have a blast. I'll answer all the questions. Everybody will get to go. I cap it at 20 people so I could spend time with everyone. You will never have more fun in your life. We will laugh and create ridiculous shit.
Remote? Can I join remotely?
Of course it's remote.
It's
Digital, baby.
Well, I mean, that's what I was. Sia making me try to go to San Antonio. I don't even go to the damn gas station. She's like, "Hey, travel across the country." I'm like, maybe later, right? So I still got work to do. All right, let me get this under wraps, and we need to work on Oz's shyness, man. He needs to come out and be more comfortable.
I'm an introvert.
And this is what. Oh, dude, and this is what's so funny because when I met him, I thought he was gonna say he was like a rock and roll, like Grateful, like musician. Like, I've still got the old school like artist. Like I'm so old, man. I'm outdated. I'm like old cheese. All right, so thank you all for breaking the stereotypes. You all are fantastic. But let me close on this. Let me ask you this: criticism. Right? We all get it. Matter of fact, it came up big time in my course today, man. It was fun. I was like, oh, I'm the king of that, man. So how do you handle criticism? It could be in your art. It could be in business. I don't care. Tell me either a story in 30 seconds or less, or how do you handle criticism and how artists helped you do it? So somebody, you said, hey, I made a great impression, and they say it looks crap. How do you handle this?
I'm thinking.
Nope, nobody's talking, so I'll go first.
Well,
your opinion
okay.
of me,
Thank
your opinion of me is none of my effing business.
I think I feel.
I second that.
Yeah, I think I feel the same way because it just doesn't really matter. It's what I think about it, how I fall in love with my art, and some people might love it, some people might hate it. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, hold on.
Right.
Hold on. Lucia. Now, before Lucia goes, come on now. Nobody's ever got their, like when you made your first little artwork and you hung it on your fridge and your uncle was like, that sucks. They didn't hurt your feelings. Like, because I mean, I had y'all got to teach me how, because I still get my feelings hurt and I'm a grown man, dude. I'm a hillbilly. Like, so Lucia, you were trying to say something. I can't wait to hear this.
Well,
Criticism.
I had a very mean 6th grade art teacher, and I was drawing a sketch of a horse, and it was coming out really good. It was really good, and I was really into it. We were not allowed to talk in our class, and someone asked if they could borrow my eraser, and I said sure, and I handed them the eraser, and she caught me saying sure, and she walked over to me, and in front of the whole class, she picked up my sketch and she tore it up in front of everybody, and I was crushed. And honestly, it was abusive. I mean, that was just a totally abusive,
Yeah.
And I didn't do art again for like 40 years.
Wow.
True story.
Wow.
Isn't that sad? Isn't that a sad story?
No, that's very normal.
Terrible.
That's very normal. Let me tell you the story of my Aunt Jeanette really quick. My Aunt Jeanette was a concert pianist in New York City. She was absolutely brilliant. All of her art, all of her drawings, everything, they're in my house. They came to Utah with me because my cousins didn't want them. I've got a room full. Her daughter, my oldest cousin Nita, was born. Her umbilical cord wrapped around her hand and feet, and she was missing fingers and toes. And my aunt felt so bad about that. She blamed herself. She never played piano again. This is what we do to ourselves. This is what creatives do to ourselves. There's this, I don't know, self-hate there thing when something happens and somebody says something bad. And as human beings, we just feel so horrible that We take it with us for many, many years, and don't stop doing that. We are all amazing, God's creatures, and beautiful. Every one of us.
There gum straight. No, and that's why the hounds. Look, man, I was so fed up with the cheese mo and all of this. You know, I don't know if I should say assholery, and I saw it everywhere. And that's where I was like, you know, it's somewhere in the middle, right? Don't be goofy and weak and not want to be better, but don't be hard on everybody. You know, somewhere in the middle. And that's what the hounds really, you know, came out. Like I found a lot of people feeling that way. Like we've been told we're not good enough. And then it reinforces by all these other people trying to sell us their crap. And that's not the way we want to do business. And so I love the fact that you guys have the courage and you put things out there. You've lived this. And I hope the audience, I mean, they've been rocking the comments. So they are really feeling what you're giving. Love the fact that you're taking the time to pay it forward, guys, man. I you know, you're busy. You've been working all day. This is gold. So on that note, let me ask you final question. So there's a little Oz or a little Romita or somebody out there, right? And they're wanting to get started, but they probably had their 6th grade art tore up in front of them, some kind of injustice. Somebody told them they wasn't good enough or they suck, and they held that. So they don't have the courage. Something inside of them wants to do better, wants to do more. They haven't took that first baby step. All right, who wants to jump on that first? What is your advice to that one person to help them get unstuck and start being happy again?
Lucia, what did you do?
Oh, well, I would say to people when I teach to negotiate. I'd say, well, ask yourself, what have you got to lose? I mean, what have you got to lose by asking, are there any other offers or discounts that apply to my purchase today? What do you have to lose? I mean, it's like assess the risk. Really, what's the real risk to just starting to make a mess on paper in front of nobody, with nobody watching? Like, what's going to happen? Are you gonna dissolve like the Wicked Witch into, you know, made of brown sugar? What are you gonna be like, right, smited? What?
What's the worst case scenario, man? I think it was Becky that asked me that. She's like, "What's the worst that could happen?" And when I was freaking out. Oh my God, what if all this happens? She's like, "What's the worst that could happen?" And as we started logically thinking through it, I'm like, that's not that damn bad after all, right? It's the boogeyman. So I love it. Thank you for that. Who wants to go? I think Romita's about to pop. Go.
Okay, go Romita. You're muted.
She's doing her mime act. Uh-oh. Did we lose her audio? Okay, let her play with the audio. Claudia.
Okay. So I forgot what I was gonna say. No. The way I see it, I'm very much into like the spiritual side, you know, the soul thing with art. So I find art as a way to nourish us. And I know when I did the workshop, and I think Christine is still here, it's, you know, you got to allow yourself to just express yourself and just be compassionate with yourself. So it becomes more of like building that relationship with yourself and just loving yourself, like allowing yourself to try something new, to express yourself and just be okay. And just what Lucia said, you know, what's the worst that can happen? So be playful with that. And it's incredible the things that will just show up.
Yeah, playful. That's, you know, my daughters, you see our kids do that. You know, they get up, they throw something, they fall down. And I never said, hey, you don't need to walk. That walking thing's not for you. You should like get up and do it again. The hell with
I like what you said at the beginning of the show, Mike, when you're like, yeah, we got a bunch of doctors in the hounds. Had we ever heard any of them, would they ever say, oh no, don't do art? Like, oh, that's going to be bad for your health. No. That's perfect, Mike.
Therapeutic. Hey, even a blind squirrel catching that every now and then. Thank you for that affirmation. I'm glad you caught my one nugget of wisdom. Lucia, thank you for silent. Romita, can we hear you?
I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Oh, wow. Okay. Hey,
I'm back.
Sweet.
I'm back. I don't know what
least.
I was saying though. I don't know what I was saying. I lost my train of thought because I was in we were talking about what were we talking about?
We were talking
about, even know anymore.
Yeah, and I could tell it was good because you were into it. So somebody tore up your artwork at 6th grade. They put you down. So there's somebody out there like you who is looking to go forward.
Yes. Okay. So I have had 3 rock bottoms to get to where I'm at today. And each time, like Lucia said, what do you have to lose? What is your worst case scenario? I know when I quit my job and I had nothing planned or lined up, my worst case scenario in that moment was I would foreclose on my home because I had just bought a new house, and I would have to move in with my dad. And I mean, that would have been my worst case scenario. Or I, travel and something bad happen or whatever. But at the end of the day, I had nothing to lose at that point in time. So you just got to do it. But I think the biggest thing that I felt was I made a choice, and I chose that this is where I want to do, and this is where I'm going to go. And I was willing to take my worst case scenario, because if after I mapped it out in my head, I was like, okay, I can accept that. I'm okay with that worst case scenario, and I'm ready to move forward.
Yeah.
Because I
This
had
is a
nothing to
low
lose.
risk activity, people. Low risk.
Dude, honestly, what the stuff we're afraid of, only 5% actually happens at most. And even when it does happen, it's not even as bad as you thought. I'll tell you what, here's my last little thing, because you guys are fantastic. Thank you all. Oz, Claudia, Lucia, Romita. Man, this was a fun thing. I mean, I just kind of threw a whole bunch of stuff in a pot, right? Just kind of hope it worked. And man, it did, because there's so much dynamic. Everybody's from different, wheelhouses and industries, but you have something in common, which is a big old heart. So thank you for using your time, skills, and talent. Thanks for coming out here today to share with people. Everyone, please go. Oh, yeah. Did we show that yet? Hold on, guys. Don't leave, because this is art. See, you want to throw that up there? Dadgummit, I need to keep her. All right. So Michelle, all right, she says, like, I love people who get my attention, man. Again, I'm busy. I try to love everybody, but man, I get like 5 million, mostly garbage, email messages. So I saw this. Michelle, thank you. All right. You were fantastic. We talk about somebody who skips line. That's the way to do it, right? So I love that. Look, even painted my nails for me. This was fantastic. I had one. This was really realistic, because I had one that was really cartoonish and I loved it too. But the guy didn't tell me he did it. I just saw it and I was kind of like scared. But this was really fun. So I just wanted to give a big shout out to Michelle. That's just fun. I just love that. You're a nice part. I can't wait to talk to you more, to get in there. Y'all go check out anybody who takes the time to do this. That's what I teach all day long, man. Stop being forgettable. Okay, generate curiosity, playfulness, like you guys just said today. It goes a long daggone way. So the next time you go send a boring pitch slap message, think about Michelle. All right. Oh, and by the way, this was so much fun, guys. If you love what you're seeing, you had a great time in the conversation, but you're astray and you don't have a pack where you can fit in, where you can collaborate and work with people. Iron sharpens iron. Hey, we mean business. But man, we just don't mean all business. We're business, but man, we do not push aside relationships and friendships. We thrive on that, because we like to work with people that we know, like, and trust. Otherwise, that's what a damn job is for, working with people you don't like, right? So want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, New York City time. This is the only time I actually stick to schedule and end at 1:30. It's amazing. It's happened 4 times, Lucia, I promise. Look at her. No, I don't believe. You show up tomorrow, you'll see it. All right. But I want to make sure that folks have an opportunity to join these great, amazing people. I mean, they spoil me. They do great work. I was just the guy that got it started, but you all make it possible. I love it. So if you're looking for a place that you might fit in, or a second, third home, hey, go show up tomorrow. And if you're on the well, if you're anywhere but in this continent, so if you're over there, UK, across the seas, we have Japanese, Uganda, you will get a recording. So go ahead and register. It's an external link. Okay. Make sure you click that external StreamYard link, and that you will get a recording and some information after that. So shameless plug. I'm teaching. I'm loving it. All right. So people who want to go to the next level, we'll talk about that for like 2 minutes, because I am just so excited after having that group coaching today. You all have valuable stuff. And the only reason people wouldn't buy it is because they don't see it. That's it. I just help with the visibility. Spotlighting you, boom, we're aligning that stuff, get it done. So guys, appreciate you again. Everybody in the audience, thank you. Connect, follow, and we will see you on the next one. Be safe out there. Round it up, roll it in, roll the outro. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.